What I understand is that, what I've experienced is that when the two of you came together, there was an alliance that was made and a training program that began. Can you talk about that?
Well, I first discovered it, the gift of Helen to me in 1984. And after 2 years of dealing with the Enneagram work, and actually being a closet Enneagram person for quite a while, because here was this really powerful psychological and spiritual way of viewing the world, wasn't commensurate with academic psychiatry at the time. But I felt like I had to come out of the closet because this was so powerful, so fundamental, so basic in what was evolving, that I went to you in 1986 and said, I think we need to develop a training, a school. We need to bring this further into the world. You can't just be teaching it here in your classes in Berkeley in perpetuity. That we needed to train other teachers. We needed to help people along this path of liberation. So I managed to convince you. It took me 2 years to do that.
It did. The beauty of the endless panels. I was doing 27 weeks a year at the Berkeley YMCA on different topics. And the reason why it became relationships and how do you do it work and what are the interreactions between types, that was always very important for people to see, but is because I couldn't do the same thing over and over again. I had to, experiment what the breadth of the system was about, just to keep people interested. So that was 3 rounds, different topic each year for a number of years. And out of that, a whole big body of students came about.
So, David, what was your intention, and what?
Well,
how did you go
I
about
felt
this?
that the system needed a depth of understanding in order to teach it effectively. That you needed to have an understanding of yourself and others that was very fundamental. That you needed ethical considerations. You couldn't just take a little class and go out and teach this in any deep and understanding way. You needed to really understand the type structures fundamentally. And so that's how we started the training, to bring ethical standards into it and to bring the depth of understanding. And over the first few years, we evolved the training so that it actually did this and does this.
It's not, it's different in depth, and we're a lot more agile with being able to handle people's education now than we were at the beginning. But the fundamental program was in place almost immutely.
Right, and that program is now happening in 13 countries around the world. You have over 1,000 certified Enneagram teachers for panel interviewing and typing interviewing.
Right.
So,
And that was 25 years.
and that was 25 years.
And most people come not because they want to teach, they want to learn more about their relationships or more about their horizontal plane of living. Or why do I keep agitating myself in this peculiar way, and what can I do about it?
Right. It's amazing that it still has legs. 25 years later, it's still happening and it's still expanding. How does that feel? What do you think about that?
We had no, when I went to Helen to do this, we had no 5-year plan. We had no idea there'd be a wonderful association of Enneagram teachers in the narrative tradition. We had no idea there'd be 13 different countries with teaching. We had no idea that we expand this to new curriculum and to new endeavors and new. We had. If somebody would have said that to us back then, we would have gone, "What are you talking about?"
And the package that I brought in, I never questioned it, which was the spiritual methodology that evokes intuitive experience. I had that coming into the Enneagram. I saw the list of separations from a receiving state of mind as the centerpiece of the Enneagram, the 7 deadly sins of the two companions. I saw those 9 profiles as the work of my generation, to be able to relax the restrictions on your own conscious evolution, to be able to relax the separations that you have, this little conditioned mind that keeps running everything on the horizontal plane in 9 different ways, and no access to those higher forces which are freely available as soon as you shift your state of mind into a spiritual state, which I was quite able to do. And again, being the right person at the right time. I'm not the best intuitive in the world by any means, or the best psychologist, but I'm extremely well balanced between those two states of mind.
You know, one last question that I think is important. So 25 years down the road with the Enneagram Professional Training Program, which you've successfully planted now in a number of countries and have many graduates. What do you see for the future, both in terms of the Enneagram Professional Training Program and also in terms of the Enneagram work in general? David, would you speak to this? What do you see?
I actually feel like it's huge, because when we really fully understand, when we get receptive, when we develop this greater receptive state and non-judgmentalness, and can really open our hearts to ourselves and to others, it's transformative. I like to even use the word transubstantiative. You can change the substance of your being, and that's what the world needs. And so my hope is, and it sounds very grandiose, is that it'll bring more world peace. That if we can get together at these fundamental levels, with these surface disparities, and get to the core of our existence and what the shared interests that we all have for a decent life, that's what we're the answer. And the Enneagram is the path to that. And as it spreads out and hopefully gets more and more into the mainstream, as I believe it is becoming, it is a great path to liberation and to the freedom of human beings and to the development of human beings.